And welcome, ladies and gentlemen. How's it going? Runeterra Academy Senior Class Quarterfinals, best of five. Where we're gonna watch Team Ambition Black, second seed versus E7 Seraphs, third seed. My name is Proof at Proofcast. I'm joined here on the casting desk with Wizard at Wizard LOL, or We Wizard at LOL.
Hello, and we got a banger of a match lined up for tonight. We've seen both of these teams, just shredding through the brackets. Who's your favorite for tonight, Proof?
I'm gonna have to go with Team Ambition, just cause, right? Like I'm not gonna be the one hyping them up too much. I think their stat line and the score speaks for themselves. They have been phenomenal this season, this split so far. And every time I watch them, I learn something. Yes, they need to learn something too, because they just be winning. But they are the top dogs here for E7 Seraphs. They have, I feel like, a long and arduous road up ahead. Yes, they are the third seed, but some of the games that I've seen them play, like last week, or I think it was 2 weeks ago, pretty sure it was last week, against Akuma Blades, right? That game kind of looked rocky a little bit here and there. Tanemo, something that I watch out for is the top lane, the champion pool. How deep are these players' champion pool? And that's the question. It's going to be put to test in the best of five quarterfinal.
Yeah, absolutely. And as we get started on the draft in just a minute, we're going to see just how deep this champ pools go because especially in the higher elos, they really sort of have to lean out of the comfort picks because more
Mhm.
targeted bans and it's more about how do you draft together as a team to create a comprehensive team composition that can lead you to victory, however you decide to draft in the game.
Yeah, we'll see if the draft is going to be super important, right? In best of fives, that's when it's time to kind of make adjustments or kind of counter pick what the opponent is picking at that point. You don't want to be the ones idly sitting by and letting your opponents pick their best champions at that point. So we'll see how things pan out here in just a second. Game lobby is full, by the way, Wookie. I know I'm announcing this online, but if somebody could go to spectator, I join them. But here we go, Yuumi, first ban. That is an interesting ban we as we look forward to here. Gangplank on the other side. So game one already, interesting bans coming out. Gangplank, I don't know if it deserved the ban, but definitely targeting that top side. Flex pick potentially, you could also pilot in the mid lane.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's these are the sort of bands that are what we were talking about, right? You see the Yuumi and the Rek'Sai, the Zeri. All of these can be really strong picks when put in the right hands. And on the other side with the GP and the Seraphine, especially GP, right? Gangplank is a champion that probably one of the hardest champions in League of Legends, where in the right hands it can just be devastating with a well-timed crit barrel. It can just blow up your entire team. And on the other side, Zeri is been a bit nuts recently. Just running around 600 movement speed.
Yeah.
I
You
just
gotta
don't know.
ban that champion.
Maybe
Well,
like 550 right now.
still one of those champions that does a lot on the map. And speaking of those champions, it's gonna be B1 Jinx Pig over on Team Ambition Black. This champion, a lot of casters would agree, is running the game right now. Speaking of bot lane, we got Renata Glass on the other side, Vayne locked in as well. E7 Seraphs, they say, you know what, we're gonna get our own carry that is gonna dominate late game.
Yeah, and especially with Renata on the back end of that, it can really be the buff that Vayne's needs. The attack speed and the little bit of a revive slash, not really, but half revive, I guess, for Vayne that could give her just an bit of edge that she needs going into those late game team fights, and of course the Berserk ultimate to turn them on themselves. I think I saw a clip once where Jinx went berserk and just killed her whole team with the hyper passive, and it was a little funny to watch. Maybe we'll get a live replay of that this game. But Ari,
that would be funny.
Rounding out the blue side for Team Ambition.
The Ari pick, I'm not too mad about that. When you ask me to see what am I excited about this in the mid lane, that's going to be one of those champions, right? Ari, who is kind of very mobile. I mean, not kind of, very mobile. But the problem is, the execution lies in the hands of the players here. For Luz to improve, he likes playing kind kind of Cassiopeia into the Ahri maybe for a side of E7 Seraph. It's gonna be the Veigar most likely here
Yeah.
into the Ahri. So that's something interesting to see. The Ahri into the Veigar. I guess Ahri blind picking it could possibly open the floodgates to all these type of counter picks. But E7 Seraphs are like, okay, we're gonna draft Veigar into it.
Yeah, I mean, looking at E7, they're really going for the sort of mid to late game power spike with this Vayne and the Veigar. They're like, we're going to play a little safe early. You know, we're going to go into the scaling side. What I want to see from E7 in the second half of the draft is a little bit more of an early game lead, because you have the late game set, right? You have Vayne
Yeah.
Veigar, you have damage. Now you need to get there without throwing the game. So, I mean, I would have said maybe something like a Zinzao, but they banned it. So they're not picking a more aggressive jungler, at least not the Xin. But I'm curious what they do pick, because hopefully something a little more early game oriented, just so you don't have a complete lack of early game prio.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, how this draft is going to transpire. It looks like E7 Seraphs do have a decent team fight, right? But they seem a little bit squishy. So next round of picks, they should be drafting something along the lines of attacking frontliner. Like Ornn could be decent here. Cho'Gath could be decent. I'm expecting it's going to be Cho, because it is on the table, and that's what Tanimo likes playing here. I think it is his best champion. Of course, Gnar is banned, so you know they don't want to deal with that. I think it's going to force him onto the Cho'Gath.
Yeah, and I think Cho'Gath is a pretty decent pick here, especially since, you know, Jinx can be really well zoned off by Cho'Gath. And despite, you know, having the Nautilus, it can really put a lot of pressure on the backline, just having the Cho'Gath with the knock-up and the silence. And, you know, here's a little bit of an early game from Trundle. You get a mix of the beefiness and the early aggression if you opt for the lethal tempo build. So E7, they did sort of have a little counterbalance to the late game, mid-late game of Vayne Veigar, which I do like to see. And it's always nice to have an aggressive jungler. It just gives you that much more prio on the map. And Trundle does win the 1v1 versus Jarvan. So as long as you're not playing into the Jarvan ganks, you do have a little bit of a better scaler going into the mid-late game.
Yeah, Trundle, you know, that's been a permaban for me, to be honest. If you're playing jungle, you know the feeling going into the Trundle. And now, top things off on the side of Team Ambition Black. This is the second seed, by the way. So they're playing on the blue side. They're showing their hand a little bit too early. E7 Seraphs opted to last pick the solo lane over the top side, and it's going to be into the Gragas. So they have a lot of choices to pick from.
Yeah, I mean, as you said, you know, Ornn, Cho'Gath, both very, very solid here. Gragas is a very safe lane for both players. It's just going to be pretty much scalar. You called it. There's the Cho'Gath. I do really like it into the Gragas. As long as you have proper vision, that you don't get flanked by Jarvan in laning phase, Cho'Gath is just going to be chilling, you know, chomping on minions, getting nice and big. As for these two team compositions, it's a tough, right? Obviously, E7 have the guaranteed scaling. They have the Vayne and the Veigar. We already talked about that. But on the other side, Team Ambition Black, they have a lot of peel for this Jinx. And that's something that E7 really don't have. They don't have much direct peel aside from the Cho'Gath. I guess you have Trundle Pillar, Veigar Cage, but all of it is sort of less peely and I would say more like aggressive peel. While Team Ambition, they have the Gragas and the Nautilus, which are very, very peel-oriented tanks.
Yeah, they are peel oriented, right? All in the purpose to serve this Jinx here on the team, kind of like doubling down on the hyper carry. Yes, the Ahri could be that carry potential here in the games. We've seen that, right? Faker kind of shows us that it is possible, but you just have to be like Faker. You have to literally be good in terms of landing the charms, because that's your only way in. As far as peel is concerned, we're looking at champions with big ultis, right? Jarvan, Gragas, Nautilus. So as long as they are not missing their abilities, Jinx is going to have a field day here. So part of the team comp that appeals to me from Team Ambition Black is sort of that hyper carry late scale Jinx, but also they have that snowball factor. If Gragas and Jarvan are looking to kind of, actually, I don't know about Gragas much, but I'm looking at Jarvan here, setting up for those 2v2s in the mid lane, getting Ahri fed here, Jinx fed, and then bot lane has that dredge line on the Nautilus. So they have so many options to kind of be in the driver's seat in this game. For E7 Seraphs, they have that late game. They have that late game insurance this time around. So maybe that's their approach. And this best of 5 series, they're setting the tempo. They're saying, okay, you know what? We're going to survive the early game, but late game is going to be our game. So we'll see.
Yeah, I think you put it pretty neatly there. Team Ambition, they definitely have the more like easier point click comp that it does well, right? The only question is, can you get enough of a lead that E7 doesn't just free scale into the late game? Because, you know, we've all played against that one Vayne and the one Veigar that just insta shots you. So you really got to be careful if you're Team Ambition Black. You got to get those early dragons. You got to get those early Jarvan pressure. And you really just got to peel the Jinx and let her do her job.
Yeah, speaking of peeling, like I've been in this situation where you know, as a caster, I see this happen all the time. Like not so much recently, not in this league anymore, but previously when I would pay attention to Veigar's, how they play is like, it is super underrated what Event Horizon does, and it's really understated. But some people, some players could get ahead of themselves. Like, yes, they're finding a lot of picks here and there. Yes, the Veigar is putting in a lot of work, but if the Veigar is caught out, let's say a bot 5v5 is about to happen around jungle timers, right? Around Drake timers, and then he gets caught out, then that is gonna provide like an insta win late game for Team Ambition Black. So positioning is gonna be everything from lose to improve, and that's even kind of cooking up the pressure at a high point at this point.
Yeah, and you raise a great point about the Event Horizon. Veigar Cage is just so strong in its ability to, similar to Oran Pillar, if used properly, it can completely zone those narrow corridors in the jungle, which can completely change a jungle fight or a Baron fight into your team's favor. And I just want to touch back on a point you said earlier about the point clickiness of Team Ambition Black's composition. And that's really just what it is, right? Having the Nautilus Judge line and the Jarvan ult, you can really prevent Vayne from doing much, right? If Nautilus just point clicks Vayne, she's just CC'd for like 5 seconds into Jarvan and then Gragas if he layers on top of it. So they have a lot easier way of turning E7's win condition on its head, while E7, in terms of like offensive CC, they really just have Renata Glass. And I guess the Cho'Gath if he gets a nice flank. So Team Ambition, they do
That's
have...
about it.
I mean,
they don't have like heavy engage here. Like, who's their heavy engage?
Exactly.
Like the Nautilus on the other side, right? So if anything, they have the anti-engage because Renata Glass ult coming through clutch here for them. So they have to really utilize that in a smart way, because if, let's say, Team Ambition Black bait those ulties out, it's going to be hard for them to peel anything coming on the other side, because Team Ambition have multiple ways of engaging and keeping their members alive. Not only that, keeping the VIPs peeled away from danger, like the Cho'Gath, like the Trundles. So it's going to come down to me, at least, to see how the positioning comes out. I feel like E7 Seraphs have to be on point. I cannot emphasize that enough.
Yeah, they need to be on the objective first, because as you said, they have very minimal engage, but they do have the nice counter engage. So if they're reacting to Team Ambition Black, they're putting themselves in a losing position. They need to be there first, have the vision control, and make Team Ambition come into them.
And there it is, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be the first game of Bo5 quarterfinals. Team Ambition Black take on E7 Seraphs here in senior class Monday, as usual. We're going to toss it over to a break. We'll be right back soon after. We shouldn't be gone too long. And welcome back. We're live. We're here. Ready to rumble. Both teams need to show up now, or whoever gets the pace early on in this best of 5, they're going to have a better mental and close it out better. But, the team drafts are looking kind of up in the air right now. We talked a lot about it going into it. What are some of the things we're going to expect, especially early on?
Well, we were talking about this jungle matchup, right? And that's how a lot of the early game can sort of rotate around. And I mean, Trundle wins the 1v1. It's just that simple, lethal tempo, Trundle, just an insane combination. Jarvan is just more of a early ganker. So keep it on the Jarvan, see if he goes for a cheesy gank, maybe level 3. Other than that, Trundle is pretty much just going to be farming up, probably going to go for a Scuttle Crab, and maybe an early Dragon if he has the bot lane prio for it. Besides that, we were noting in the loading screen, Gragas has Phase Rush, which could mean it's AP Gragas.
Yeah.
And I would love to see that, honestly. I know I usually am not a huge fan of it. I usually say just go tank, but in this case, I think it could be great. But keep it on this bot lane. There is some maybe cheese. No, the is backing off. I love early cheese. I say it every time. In this case, they're just going to go a little safer and just farm it up, which both of these ADCs want to do, right? Jinx, Vayne, both of them hyper carry, hyper scalers. They're vibing in lane.
As far as also roaming is considered, I think, for supports, we're seeing a lot of that in this meta. We're seeing a lot of those supports who opt out to leave the ADC alone and then go mid and top. But Turk is one of those supports, and I know with time we're going to see that happening. But the question is, which lane are they going to prioritize inside of Team Ambition Black? And E7 Seraphs, they could probably penalize that if it were the case.
Yeah, I do think that Nautilus has a lot more roaming potential than the Renata Glass does. Simply just because of the CC and I guess if he goes Moby boots, then obviously it's a lot easier to roam with. But also just having the glacial augment just gives you so much more potential while doing that.
Yeah.
But besides that, both junglers just going for pretty standard full clears. Jarvan not going for anything too cheesy, which is not necessarily a bad thing. All of his lanes are pushing out, so there's not much potential for him to get a lane gank this early on. But we are going to see some contention on this Scuttle. I'm curious if Trundle is going to be able to contest him on it, especially since he's supposed to be stronger. Looks like it's already gone.
Yeah, Ham secured that one in the bag pretty quick. Castle walked up, wanted to kind of show himself there to contest that bot side blue, but he's just going to go to the golems right now and then make his way towards the bot side. And I think both junglers know where the other one is, so it shouldn't be kind of like a gank we're seeing a first blood happening, at least in the next few seconds.
Yeah, and especially, Ham not having that bot lane prio, just give up a Scuttle. It's really not that big of a deal, especially since the changes at the start of Season 2. That being said, everybody's farming up pretty even farm across the board. Slight CS lead towards Team Ambition Black in the mid and bot lane. Nothing too dramatic, but, maybe it'll lead to some trends going into the... once we get a little deeper into the game. But besides that, it's pretty quiet on the Rift. Both junglers going back to their spawn camps.
One of them did not get a pink ward. Ham did not spend to get the pink ward. Meanwhile, Castle has it. So maybe that'll be a little bit of the difference we might see coming out. Vision fight, but Castle on his way over the top side. Ham is there as well. Might be a 2v2 pretty quick, but Tanima already taking very low. Flashes burn. Tanima gonna get away with the skin of his teeth so far. Demon King Sam flashes for the kill, and that's the body slam. He gets it. Ham now taking on the 1v2. Is he able to do anything? Mark boots around the roam. That's the Ari charm. They do have that if they want to go for the dive. They opt to not go for it yet, but boots still around. Goes, flashes for it. And that's the kill. Give it over to TA Black. They hit the ground running.
Yeah, and that's 2 kills right over to TA. That's exactly what they needed.
4 kills. They're not gonna be
there's a
satisfied
third
with
one.
that. There's more. Another
Oh,
dredge
man,
line,
would you-
back to back. Meow and Cat on the return will go down. Off for one. Rises above the bot lane, finds first one, as well as Turk camping out the other kill. 1-1. That's 4-0 for
That
TA
was
Black.
beautiful. That was beautiful. These are the type of supports you wish you had in solo queue.
Yeah.
Turk, beautiful judge line, followed up the kill on Young Jae. That's 4 kills, just like that over the Team Ambition Black. Huge lead. And looking at Grangus's build so far, he is going AP. Hooray, hooray. And across the board, you know, it's looking pretty good for Team Ambition Black. First dragon has spawned. It's a mountain. This is pretty decent first dragon to get. Resistances all around are solid, especially when you got some tanks on your team.
Speaking of tanks,
Oh, wow.
Hextech Flash, Turk with MVP type play in the mid lane. That's a roaming support. That's Turk trademark. Mark Boots finds the aggressive play there, shuts it down. Any possibility of Veigar going away alive. 5-0 TA Black. You have a solid grip over the early game.
That was insane. I mean, I never really thought about that Hex Flash positioning, but like the way he jumped over the wall into the instant judge line, that was just beautiful. Turk. I mean, we were talking about the roaming support, but I just didn't think about it, and just like that, another one bites the dust.
Yep. Meow and Cat, you know, has that passive, has that Renata aggression,
And
but
wow,
nothing comes up at all.
Lane.
1v1 there.
Spiraling out of control.
And not what you expected if you are a fan of E7 Seraphs. They're getting annihilated here. Ham going to be taking a low. Cataclysm used. That's a level 6 Jarvan into a level 5 Trundle. So Ham did not even have his ulti up there. Feels bad, man. The junglers already are differentiating themselves, and that's Castle ahead of his counterpart.
Yeah, and then I think he got level 6 because he got the double scuttle, he got the kill experience and the assist experience. He just had that much of a lead on the Trundle, and you know, them being high-level League of Legends players, they are capitalizing on their lead expertly. It's already 8-0, one dragon over to Team Ambition Black. This game is looking solid in their favor. I hope Ari picks up a Dark Seal, but it's not required. But when you're so far ahead, I love seeing it on these AP champions, especially even on Gragas. Gragas can get it as well. And the Nautilus roam spotted on the ward, unfortunately.
Yeah, it looks like they're setting up for that top side objective, the Rift Herald, right? They want to get more plays, they want to get more gold, and still early game, so what better way to do it than getting that Rift Herald?
Yep, and lane swapping, having the bot lane go up to the Rift Herald, sending the Gragas bot. You don't see that much in solo queue, at least in... I don't play in Master, admittedly, I'm all the way down, but I don't normally see, you know, bot laners switching the top lane to achieve...
Well, gotta get used to it, It's gonna happen a lot in this series, most likely.
Exactly, that's what I love watching these guys play.
Yeah, Demon King Sam also, he's notoriously known for his Aatrox. But speaking of that, though, Castle, a little bit of aggressive. Coming out, aggression may be greedy out of him. Yep, he pays it. Hefty price. Goes down. Finally, maybe a shutdown for this Veigar, right? That is the way back in for E7 Seraphs. They need Loose to improve to get all these resources.
You've got the Dark Seal, 2 stacks on it.
That's something. You're at home about that one, for sure. You know, you might not be too proud of that yet, but definitely translate into something later on.
Yeah, it's a small mistake from the Jarvan that ends up. It's one of those things that you don't think about until it actually punishes you. You know, using the flag to take the camp, you don't have it for the flag and drag out. It being on a pretty large, I think, 8-second cooldown. So, yeah. Unfortunately, that was one of those times where it's, you know, comes back to haunt you.
The only thing he had to do is just look at the minimap, right? Like, players were missing. I think he felt overconfident that Turk was behind him and it's Nautilus. So, I think overconfident could be a double-edged sword here for TA Black. They just need to be able to keep this pace up as they don't make any mistakes go into it. Yes, this is a Rift Herald topside. Yes, this could be the first turret. But, you know, on the other side, you're looking at two lose to improve. This is a Veigar. This is a Vayne on the other side. So, you know, they're not out of this one just yet. E7 Seraphs, they're making a play. Oh, it looks like they're getting it played on by the Charm.
Beautiful
Ari
Charm.
goes in. Now flashes in for the kill, and there it is. Mark Boots finds the mark.
Now, she was like within a pixel of the edge of the E. That was beautifully played. Almost getting stunned, but not quite, and the charm angle worked out quite nicely. I do want to say taking first tower might actually end up being a bad thing because it gives this Vayne a lane to farm in. When originally you could force her to walk all the way up past the tier 1 to get CS, you could actually zone her from getting both farm and a here, unless you actively punish it, she's just lane. That being said, if she's top lane, you have very large dragon prio. So it's a work off to both ways. And with the Cloud Dragon coming up in 40 seconds, I have to see how Team Ambition Black play this because, as we said, they are the team that is playing aggressively. Right, E7 needs to be ahead. They need to be active in their plays beforehand. Otherwise, their composition just doesn't have the tools to get there. So with this dragon coming up, E7 doesn't look like they're posturing for it, but Cho'Gath, looking at the nice juicy ADC, is going to go for it.
Yeah, but Jinx has the Crockett Slayer completed here on top of having Berserkers. Is she able to just shred through Tanamo's HP bar? Tanamo flashes in, and that's not good play on his part. All for one. Finds the solo kill because guess what? Completed the Mythic already. So it's as easy as hitting the autos and the abilities there and making sure that you don't get that feast onto you by the Cho'Gath.
Yep, unfortunately the numbers just didn't quite work out. Jinx was able to kite it out effectively and avoid. I think she was just above the feast range. That's why he flashed for it. But Jinx lived. Nautilus came to the rescue. Although I don't think she needed it. I think she had it. But Dragon number 2 over the team.
I hate when Cho'Gaths flash for the feast if they don't get the Q off. I think it's just very optimistic play there. You're not like a Volibear where your Q is actually guaranteed if you hit it. So you have to. There it is. Now he could. If he had to flash, this could have been the kill. But Tanamo maybe, despite that, he will find it either way, and that's the shutdown. Finally, Tanamo has some meat on the bone to chew on because he's getting big. He needs some resources. He needs some food. Jinx is going to be that food for him. But Mark Boots in the mid lane, everybody's respecting the charm out of Ahri, but how much can she keep up this pressure? A lot of rotations coming through already from E7 Seraph.
Yep, and with the Everfrost, you just have that much. Charm. You just have that much extra potential, right? Because charm into Everfrost gives you, I'm not sure, maybe 1 to 2. Everfrost itself is 1.5, so just like that should be 2 to 3 seconds of CC. That's a lot, especially considering how much extra CC Team Ambition has on top of that. It's very scary. You need to have the vision to not get CC from E7 because we were talking they don't have much peel aside from Cho'Gath and not a glass isn't I wouldn't call that peel. So I guess Chundle and the Cho'Gath just like that.
They could go for picks though, right? The E7 Seraphs, they have a really nice comp that tailors towards that. They could run around side lanes, pressure anybody who's making a mistake, especially for Mark Boots, right? Yes, he has the ulti. Maybe they could even tax the ult and then go for a double play on the Ahri. Make sure to get that 400 gold bounty, as Event Horizon is going to be detrimental in that aspect. We do see E7 Seraphs might get engaged on, and that is the ulti. Meow and Cat has to flash out of that one. Nautilus ult comes through as well, and the engage is superb from TA Black. And Demon King Sam will live by flashing into the Raptors there. Turret will not help. E7 Seraphs are just there to pick up the minion wave regardless.
Yeah, and I mean, we just saw from that the CC potential from Team Ambition Black. I mean, you have the point and click death charge, and then just like that, it's a death sentence, right? Followed up by they have 2 Everfrosts now, so that's an additional 3 seconds of CC if they chain them correctly. Plus the Ahri charm and the flag and drag. There's just so much to keep a track of on the screen. Turk may be in trouble here, but Hyper Jinx probably gonna.
Oh, it's getting a little dicey, but all for one. Fighting the autos. That's the dredge line. Pulls back. Meowing Cat. Will go down. Eventually, Castle now Cataclysm uses to zone them out, and that's the charm does land. Mark Boots finds yet another kill. Dredge line in goes Turk. Demon King Sam will pick up the kill, and Team Ambition Black are running the game.
Yep, I mean 15-2, quite a dominatory lead. Second with Herald coming down. That might be inhibitor, but it's 15 minutes into the game. Taking an inhibitor now would be a mistake. So I'm curious, how far do they go with it? Do they just take the turret and back out? Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, I
Good
don't think
play.
they're gonna
I like
go
this.
down for more.
Yeah. I
But there's
watched
no
a
Baron here,
very
so
in-depth video from I think it was Freak who talked about pros and cons of taking an inhibitor. The rundown was pretty much if you can get Baron, it's worth it. If you can't, you should not. So
yeah.
15 minutes, no Baron, should not take the inhibitor quite yet. But
Yeah,
having
it's
that
gonna,
mid
give
lane
them a
open,
free lane. Yeah, free lane to
yeah,
farm, right, with a Winion, so it's gonna be hard for you to walk up too much. So they make the strategic call to not go for that inhibitor, as you do point out. But now Demon King Sam, can they get away from? They're gonna get collapse on. Charm does land, lose to improve. Mind you, this is the Predator Veigar, so he could
they got
come
a turret.
at you pretty fast. And Tanamo does find a Q, but no follow-up from E7 Seraphs. But the idea was there.
Yep, I mean, oh wow, oh maybe.
As if I gonna break out, turret taken quite low, 1 foot in the grave, but look at that damage coming through TA Black. They're not losing any pace. They're finding kills back to back as E7 Seraphs are dropping like flies at this point in time. Meowing Cat, he's gonna get engaged on Cataclysm, absolutely deletes him. Young J Vayne does not have the peel, and that's the double coming out from Castle. More kills, okay. At least gonna tax Veigar's flash there. Nicely done. Demon King Sam providing that pressure. The AP Gragas.
Yeah, it's. I was actually gonna say that I think E7, their choices in terms of items and runes actually sort of it would have solved their problem of engage. Turbo Chem Tank on the Cho'Gath and Predator on the Veigar does give them a lot more offensive options, but it's not going to help much when it's 19-2 in terms of gold. I mean, they are down over 10k at this point, so they really just need to take it slow, farm. You're going to give out Dragon Soul most likely, but I mean that's just the price. You just have to scale at this point. I mean, Jinx has 2 items, LDR completed, so you really can't fight. Hopefully Vayne can get Rage Blade before their next fight, and that's your best bet if you're E7.
Something needs to happen for E7 Seraphs, and that something could be a huge mistake coming out from TA Black. So we'll see. The way things are going right now, it's not looking that good for E7 Seraphs, and they just need, like I said, something like an ace up their sleeve. They need this Veigar to get a kill, because guess what? 1 kill on the Veigar, 1 kill on the Cho'Gath so far. They literally have only 2 kills.
Yeah.
How do you even go about that?
You gotta hope for a mistake. You gotta look for picks, vision control. That's the best you can do.
Speaking of vision, right? A lot of pink wards now on at least the side of E7 Seraphs, so they could regain control back.
Decent vision control in their bot river. I'll give them that.
Yeah, they got those pinks up. Trying to fight back for every inch they can. At least Fog of War is not in their favor right now. It's lights out for them. I don't think they have any vision here on the top side. So, say goodbye to your reds. Say goodbye to your golems.
Yeah, your jungle's gone.
Your jungle's gone. Trundle has to be careful where he walks up to. Oh, speaking of walking up to, Trundle gets charred, but they're going to pull the trigger here on the 4v3. Mind you, Castle around the corner, so it's going to alleviate some of that pressure. And E7 Seraph's going to walk away, not knowing what else they're going to do after that.
Yep, and that's the power of the point-click CC from the Nautilus. Just get out of jail free card, if you will. And it's really bleeding for E7, right? They just lost their whole jungle. Team of Mission Black farmed it. Now they're going to go back, farm their own jungle, and just like that, the gold lead is just increasing very, very heavily.
Still, that inhibitor turret is intact, so, for TA Black, they might be able to go for the Baron into the inhib or inhib into Baron here, but it looks like they got quite the numbers over the top side, as that Baron is going to spawn on the map. And 2 minutes for the soul, so, they could play some tic-tac-toe around the map with E7 Seraph.
Yeah, I don't think they need to be too cautious about it. I mean, you have every member on 2 items. Ari ended up picking up the Dark Seal with 8 stacks. you can just do Baron. Yeah, I like this play from Team Ambition Black. You have the Nautilus, you have the Vision Control. You see them walking up. Baron, we're not looking at Baron, but I'm assuming it's halfway gone. By the time E7 gets there, it's going to be too late. But Arlie may be in trouble, forced to ult out.
That's a Predator Vagar. They need to punish this. They need to make a play happen. It's going to be now, but Jarvan already securing that Baron, and E7 Seraphs don't find any plays.
Yep, especially with Gragas in the bot lane. We're not looking at it, but it looks like he's going for the turrets. He actually... No, he did not get the turret. He's pushing for it. Clearing out the wave. Jinx pushing out mid. I mean, this is the right way to do it, right? You clear the mid wave. You don't take inhib. You wait for Baron, take it on spawn. And now you have the Baron buff to push all the lanes. And now you can get the inhib with the Baron pressure. You can get top lane, get the tier 2 turrets, and overall you are just relaxed with Team Ambition. You don't need to force anything, you just need to let the Baron minions do their work and just slowly push your way into the base.
Yeah, Depth Charge was already used from Nautilus, so he needs to play around that cooldown 1 minute until he maybe will find a nice team fight Dredge line, and that's going to be okay. All right, interesting ulti coming out there, explosive cast. An optimistic one, and that it is a flash cataclysm from TA Black. Look at the team bars on the side of E7. The HP bars are not that healthy. You're gonna get annihilated. No casualty from TA Black. Absolutely phenomenal here. And that's the first game, mind you. They had the blue side picked. Jinx has been putting so much work here. That is just it. They're gonna close it out. Simple as that. 24-2. So much goal lead. They make it happen.
Yep, what a beautiful finish from Team Ambition Black. They didn't need the soul. They were just like, all right, got the Baron. Let's force a fight. Easy win. Just like that, game number 1 over Team Ambition Black. Point and click wins the day.
Yeah, point and click wins the game, right? So we'll see what E7 Seraphs are able to do. Maybe they could go on the other side. They have side selection after the first game. Obviously, having that B1 pick could be useful for them. But mind you, they had the counter picked and they left it to solo lane, top lane, and we didn't see much happen there either. So, a bit of a scratcher on the head coming out from E7 Seraphs. Maybe they'll be able to bring it back. They just need to have a good mental reset there, get the junglers working, get that calm, clear, and precise. We didn't see much coming out from them the first game, so maybe this one will be their golden opportunity. With that said, we're going to throw it over to break. We'll be right back with the second game. Excited to see what they both these teams have in store for us. already saw the first game. It's already in the books. Now time for the second game. It's a clean slate. You got to start over. You got to get more action here. Maybe different plans this time around. The approach definitely has to be changed on the side of E7 Seraphs. I don't know too much about Team Ambition Black. They could just keep doing what they've been doing because it's been working.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't necessarily think that the team composition was an issue for either side in the last game. I think just the execution from E7 was just a little bit off. Just unfortunate. There was that one. Like 10-second period where it just all went, downhill. There were 2 kills top lane, 2 kills bot lane.
Like a
Just
20
absolute-
minutes down the hill. We felt
Yeah.
it wasn't just 10 seconds. It felt like the entirety of that game. E7 Sarah was trying
Well,
to hold
it
on to
was so
something.
quiet, right? It was
Mhm.
so quiet, and then all of a sudden, 0 to
Yeah.
100. And just like that, the gold shifted, and really
Mhm.
crazy. I would say, like, the first moment of action, it's usually not so dramatic in terms of the whole, all 4 lanes, right?
Mhm.
Having something happen. So
Everybody had a bounty. Everybody was like,
yeah,
okay, even the support Turk, he made those plays happen. Like I said, that's trademark,
yeah.
like how he plays. He likes going other lanes, not just the bot lanes. So they have to watch out for that always in the back of their heads. Keep that in mind for E7 Seraphs as they move into the second picks and bans here. I don't know what they're gonna prioritize. They have a lot of options. Obviously, this time around, are they gonna go with that Zeri if it's left up? Are they gonna go with the Jinx? Because the storyline so far for a lot of teams is the one where if you have Jinx, you're chilling, you're winning.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, any of these ADCs that can just sit back, and no matter what, if they get their items, they're fine. And Vayne is one of those too. It just so happened that E7 just fell behind so quickly, so fast that Vayne just kind of didn't have the time to catch up, and Team Ambition were just able to snowball out of control. So even after that initial 4-kill play, it's not game over, not even
It's
nearly.
not.
If they had stopped the bleeding right there, it would have been comeback. And maybe they'll be able to either prevent it entirely in game 2, or just scale well. But that said, we are beginning in draft. Pretty
It's
similar.
comebackable. It's comebackable for sure.
Always
Maybe
winnable.
0-1 is their comfort zone. Who knows? But E7 Seraphs this time around, it's just coming down to the execution to it, right? They did okay with the draft last time around, so they just should be able to replicate that this time around. The results are there, at least on their draft side of things. So where it comes down to essentially is the execution.
Mm-hmm. And taking a look at the bans so far, pretty similar to the first game. Only difference is Seraphine and Lee Sin swapped out for Ahri and Nautilus. I like these bans. I think they were very, very dominatory last game. Especially, Turk on the Nautilus, absolutely insane. So much map pressure, so much consistency that I think it's just a solid ban. Ahri as well, maybe not necessarily, like, it's not one of those picks that is unworkable, while the Nautilus can just have so much lane prio and roam prio. But if they ban it, then it is what it is. And then of course the Zeri ban out, which was I would say that would probably have been the B1 pick if it wasn't banned out.
B1 pick is Hecarim.
Hecarim.
Yep. It's even better in my opinion. Even more snowbally pick than the Zeri. The Zeri is not available to Lee Sin. It's gonna be the answer from Team Ambition Black into the Hecarim. Is it gonna pan out though? And they do have the Jinx yet for a second time around.
Yeah, I mean they snap picked it. They knew exactly what they were doing. They saw the ban list come out. They're like, okay, Lee Sin, Jinx, R1, R2, we're solid, right? And I think it's just one of those things where Lee Sin and Jinx are just solid picks no matter what the team composition is. You can pick it out, then round out whatever you need going forward. Maokai actually picked out from E7. I'm curious if this is going into top lane or into the supports. Either way, support. It's one of those possibly flex champs, but most likely supports. And they are going for the Vayne again. They want that ADC rematch.
Yeah, Meowing Cat has their best
champion is the Maokai, so I wouldn't be surprised if this is the bot lane Maokai with Vayne. Vayne is Young Jay's ace champion. Last time around, he couldn't have a lot of good results on it. You know, he was faltering here a little bit, stumbling on the bot lane. Essentially, that was Jinx and Nautilus from the other side. Let's see if the Nautilus is banned. What is going to be the pick from Team Ambition Black? As Victor is locked and loaded in the mid lane. Loose to improve. Can possibly play the LeBlanc into it because you don't really want to blind the Victor. It's heavily punishable by that LeBlanc, but I don't know if Loose to Improve plays that on the side of E7S.
Yeah, I'm curious. It's so interesting. You have the possibility of, you know, saving it for R4 or R5, but they did pick it, you know, a little bit early before the ban list comes out. I'm curious if they were worried about mid lane bans. After doing well in the last game. That being said, you know, they said go pick the Victor. I love Victor. I love his thematic. You always need a little bit of magic damage on your team. Glorious evolution. And the ban list coming out, they don't want the Thresh. I think they're scared of Turk's, you know, capabilities, and I would be too in their position. He slaughtered the last game.
The Hook Master, let's call him. Let's call him that right now.
The Hook Master.
Yeah, Thresh is now off the table. I think, you know, they should. The Team Ambition Black are definitely going to pick support now before they pick the top laner, and which I think the top laner is going to be really like around. I think if they pick Aatrox, oof. Demon King Sam was performing last week or 2 weeks ago when I was watching around February 26th. He is a monster on Aatrox. So if we see that coming out right now in game 2, I already know where I'm putting my channel points. You know, so.
Well, if it is indeed an Aatrox, I mean, I guess it depends what E7 pick, because Aatrox is one of those champions where he has some iffy matchups, so you can't, you wouldn't blind pick it. But if you do get an Aatrox pick up, it is, he's always, you know, the drain tank, I guess, besides maybe Ross.
Yeah, like you said it there, you don't really want to pick the Aatrox blind, so that's why I feel like for Red Side it's even more possible that storyline to develop. So because they do have that counter pick. We'll see if E7S what they pick here. The Gnar is not available second time around. The Cho'Gath could be the answer for their top. The Corki is going to be the answer from Loose to Improve. This is his second best champion after Cassiopeia, so I wouldn't be surprised if this was picked. And it is picked. So the Corki into the Victor. This is kind of Season 12 trademark so far in the mid lane. We've been seeing a lot of that in LCK, LPL. We know how this matchup is going to go.
Yeah, and it's another one of those sort of scaling lanes, right? Not too much action happening beforehand, and, you know, Corki with the package, always a force to be reckoned with around the objective fights. And just like you said, rounding out the composition with Cho'Gath, going to put the Maokai in the support. Maokai support, definitely one of the, I would say it's one of those champs that always has the possibility of being support, just because of having your sapling, right? You always have vision control, you always have unsweepable vision as well, right? You can't destroy the saplings. And, you know, you're on fire today. You're just predicting all these picks. The Aatrox coming out.
Yeah, you know why I like this week though?
Sam.
Demon King Sam. Now here's the thing. Like, I want to put channel points for Demon King Sam because I feel like we're already seeing what they could do. My only concern here is for Team Ambition Black is this Aatrox pick. Because it's kind of a double-edged sword. Yes, it's very good into the Cho'Gath. It's very good early game. And if he's snowballing, it's going to be sensational, right? But the win percentage in high elo between Cho'Gath and Aatrox is very Cho'Gath favored. So it's kind of like that comeback ratio for Cho'Gath, right? At late game, he's able to just tank mostly what Aatrox throws at him. So I feel like that's the only concern for me personally going into it. But early lead, no doubt about it that Demon King Sam is gonna have a field day in the top lane. So I think my channel points are still gonna go, you know, where it's gonna go. I'm not gonna disclose it officially, but for E7S, they have a lot to deal with here in the second game. Yes, they picked that Hecarim B1, but why did that pick it, right? Were they having problems with the Trundle last game? Did they want a better jungler here that maneuvers around the map much faster, much quicker? Is that what they needed from or in the first game?
Yeah, and I think that's definitely what E7 were thinking on the back end. But I mean, just looking at the team compositions themselves, we do see a lot more engaged potential from E7
Yeah.
with the Hecarim, the package, the Maokai. They have a lot more options they did this game than they did last game, which is why I think the drafts are a little bit more even favored. I mean, even on that end, TA are a little bit low on engage this time around. I guess you have a potential, I guess a Lee Sin kick or a Leona far off ult, but besides that, TA are actually a little bit on the low end of the engage side. But I mean, that's not necessarily a bad thing, right? They do have a lot of scaling potential that the early game with the Aatrox that you were talking about and the Lee Sin. There are a lot of factors that both of these team comps are sort of revolving around. And I think just like last game, it's going to come down to who gets the initial jump first.
Yeah, you know, we
Just like
should
that, yeah.
to elaborate on that point. Last game, we saw the initial jump was for a Team Ambition Black. They are on another level when it comes to the early game. They are very hard to control, very hard to predict. They have their vision locked down. They have their rotation on the lockdown. So if this game goes like anything that we saw in the first game, then for sure we could arguably say that the early game is going to be in the bag for Team Ambition Black.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think if E7 is not able to get the early, right, if the game mirrors the first one, right, if they lose the initial pressure, they need to play a lot more safer than they did before. They need to sit back, just farm, give up objectives. You have a Vayne and a Corki. You scale, guaranteed.
Yeah.
You guaranteed scale. But you need to make sure you have the gold and the time to get there. It's okay if you lose dragons. It's okay if you lose Baron, towers. That's fine. Just stay in the game. You have engaged this time. You have
Keep your head low.
Exactly. So we'll see what happens. Maybe they'll get the edge and they'll just snowball out of control. But on the flip side, you never know with League of Legends.
Yeah, no, I think this is definitely one of those games that's like up in the air right now, because we're going off of the first one. We're kind of biased. You know, we saw Team Ambition Black just absolutely stomp early game, and we're just like, okay, if that happens again, I mean, we're thinking it's gonna happen. For me, I think where it lies is is a playmaker on Team Ambition Black, which is Turk and Castle. So they're kind of like two junglers at this point. Like Leona gets the mobility boots. And it's just everywhere on the map. Goes mid, goes top. Lee Sin going to be perma invading here with the help of Leona if possible. Victor into the Corki. I think he blind picked this one. He got really lucky that Lose to Improve didn't pick the LeBlanc, or else it was going to be a nightmare in the mid lane. So I feel like there's a lot of question marks for me, at least, from this blue side draft that they could have maybe drafted a little bit differently. Yes, a couple of changes maybe could go a long way. But like you said, it's very situational for this Corki. It's a guarantee that they scale with the Vayne and the Corki, but the guarantee only comes down with time. That's the X factor here. You really can't say, yeah, like the Corki is going to get where he needs to get. Time is needed for that, right? And I feel like the first game, the same thing happened where Yang Ji was on the Vayne and time was needed for him to scale, but time was never there because Team Ambition Black were just stomping. So if they come up out of the gates, guns blazing, Team Ambition Black, it's going to look rough for E7S.
Yeah, and that being said, the real question is Meow and Cat on the Maokai going to go the Maokai skin? I would say yes, but if they don't,
that's the real question.
I think the tides are shifting over to TA. I think you gotta go the skin if you want to win.
Does more damage.
Exactly.
Does more damage.
You get the flavor with the name, right? I mean, you kind of have to at that point. Otherwise, you're kind of throwing from champ select. That being said. I guess we're going to get the tossed to a break, and we'll see you on the Rifts.
Yep. See you guys in a bit.
I just wanted to let that ring out because we were just right on time. Welcome to Summer's Rift. We are here. We are locked and loaded in the playoffs, quarterfinals for both these teams. And Team Ambition Black already got one in the bag. Let's see if they're able to get a second one in here. We're not going to see any early shenanigans, any early invades coming out, but let's do quick introductions for those who are just joining in. My name is Proof of Proofcast, and I'm joined here on the casting this with Wee Wizard. How are we feeling after that first game?
Oof, I mean, it was such a dominatory game that it makes you think TA is going to win. That being said, as we were talking about, Meowing Cat has the Maokai skin, so it sort of tips the scale with losing game one, in my opinion, just slightly.
Yeah, we were talking about that before getting in.
Just a quick look at runes and stuffs. Everything is pretty normal. The only thing that might be of question is a fight in the bot lane, actually.
It's the early fight.
Yep. And it was actually about bot lane. We saw that Meowing Cat on the Maokai does have first strike, which is a little interesting. There is some synergy with the the sapling P builds. So we'll see how it turns out in the game. The statistics say it might be good. So who are we to judge? And overall, pretty standard stuff. Aatrox in the top lane getting good trades as expected. It is early game favor for him.
He's gonna have field day there. If somebody doesn't check Demon King Sam, I'll tell you he might even get a penta here. I'm not gonna be too quick to predict, but I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't. Already going ahead with the trades. Tanamo really has to respect that. He can't even walk up to CS, and that's just GG right there in the top lane. But 0-0 start so far, under 3 minutes. So the
he's got 20 gold from that?
Who?
Oh no, sorry, that was his support item. Okay, I thought that was. Okay, sorry.
That's all good. Moving on though, let's look at where Lee Sin and Hecarim are at this point in time, as both of them might be able to fight over this bot side scuttle or even pull off a gank.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like he's going straight for the bot lane gank. Maokai a little bit low on mana, might just be not quite.
Zenith Blade doesn't connect, so there's a call off on the gank, and Castle has to just focus on the scuttle.
Yeah, just turn around, go for the scuttle, nothing lost. Having gone for 4 camps instead of Hecarim's 5, Castle is going to be a little bit behind in terms of farm, but he's gonna wrap right back around. Nothing too big lost. Hecarim actually will be coming in for the bot lane gank of his own.
A better setup for Ham than it was for Castle, because the bot lane of Team Ambition Black, they're pushing into them. So they're just going to spot him out there on the gank. And now they don't know where Ham is, or they don't know where Castle is, but they do know where Ham is. Lee Sin hasn't shown himself yet.
Ooh. Worth noting, Castle actually managed to get the double scuttle this time around. I believe it was Ham last time who got that, so maybe a little bit of a turning tides in terms of the jungle. Great backstop from Mark Boots there.
Yeah, Mark Boots has been spamming the Victor. You should be scared that this guy has a Victor. Just the way he performed last game on the Ahri just goes to show that he's here ready to play. And Turk, the secondary jungle here in the mid lane, yet another roam from him. They got a lot of time to kill, so why not? Leona's making her way here. I don't think she was spotted there, though. I think maybe she was, but there was no ward there. Possibly see where he was at.
I think he may have just gotten spotted. Just based on the movements of Lose to Improve, I think maybe he walked up a step too far. But he's TPing back to lane to catch that wave. All in all, nothing too... Just like the first game, right? Guiding so far.
Demon King Sam this time around. He's probably pinging for a gank here. Look at the setup that he has for Castle. But Castle is nowhere to be found. He's actually on the opposite side of the map. But Ham is here. They go for the bank.
Actually, Ham. There's no way. I don't think they dive this. Yeah, he's just posturing just in case. But wow, Demon King Sam going aggressive. Ham.
He's a little bit too deep in, and here comes Ham for the level 5 gank here. Demon King Sam will go down. That's a first blood. Ham got one in the bag, and that's a good start. Good lead they have occupied themselves here in the early game. E7 Seraphs. However, they're going to have to say goodbye to the first Drake.
Yeah, slightly unfortunate. You know, I've been there as a jungler. The second you go for an aggressive play, the jungler's there, and you get punished for it. That being said, it's not a complete loss. You did get the Hextech Dragon off of that. But first blood over the Hecarim could be a bad sign. Taking a quick look at CS, we do see big leads, top, jungle, mid, in favor of Team Ambition, so...
I feel like they have the first blood, you know? Like, the first blood is for E7S, but it feels like, when you look at the gold, that it is actually in the pocket of Team Ambition Black.
Yep, so overall, I mean, the gold is still in TA's lead just because of this, the CSing that they've been doing so well. And, you know, just taking a look at the vision, it seems predominantly in favor of E7, right? You see all that vision on the bot side jungle. Nothing really much for TA in terms of wards, except the ward that just got placed on E7's top side. Very nice ward from Demon King Sam. So they know Hecarim is on the bot side of the map.
Yeah, they should be able to play safe, but the problem is, even if they didn't know Hecarim was in the bot lane, I don't think he could have a successful gank. He doesn't have Onslaught of the Shadows just yet. He is working towards it, though. He might get there sooner than later. I think he's ahead of Castle in that sense, but the camps should put them around the same level in terms of XP. Just the Hecarim is a bit ahead on gold.
Yeah, absolutely. And Lee Sin is a little bit ahead, actually. He's already hit the level 6
mark. Already got it.
Yeah, so I think that's because he stole Raptors. It's maybe another camp from Ham. So Tanimo getting a little bit low in this top side. Maybe going for a... Oh, they're actually going for an aggressive play on Ham here.
Oh, he's not... He might be able to hit his level 6 right now, but they're not going to allow that. Oh, they don't get it. He's gone and dusted. Castle, with the level advantage, absolutely flexes on Ham.
I think his combo was a little bit off. He was forced to flash there, but clean play all in all. Gets the blue buff and is going to get the Rift Herald in turn. And that is really, really strong. I mean, Hecarim Ham is still not level 6.
Feels bad. He was
Castle
so
already
close.
level 7. Yeah.
I
think he gets it off his next camp. But
yeah, he should be able
it's
to.
Just the emotional feeling of getting invaded in the jungle. It sucks.
Yeah, just getting counter jungled here despite having the first blood. That's a story for Ham, but maybe he make a comeback happen. As 1-on-1 is the score line, and this is looking like a different game, at least for E7 Seraphs. They have a better start, but skin of that, Turk may be able to go in for the Zenith Blade. Does have the Solar Flare over onto Meowing Cat, who hasn't hit level 6. And as do say that, he does.
Yep, just like that. We do have a dragon coming up relatively soon, a minute and a half. Mountain Dragon. TA probably going to be looking to secure that. Oh, bullying with the smite. Not cool, Castle. Oh no, Ham actually got that one.
Yeah, Ham actually got that one, but Turk got the Zenith play engaged. That's one down. Team Ambition Black are looking good, but all for one taking very low. We'll get down there by Young Jae. Young Jae now with the help of Loose to improve. They need to collapse on this Corki. They need to help him out because Castle might land the Sonic Wave, but no! Loose to improve flashes out of that one, and nicely done. E7 Seraphs are still in it.
Yeah, and Vayne getting a kill onto Jinx there. Quite solid, you know, you always want gold on the Vayne just to enhance that scaling. But I'm curious, Corki actually rushed X-Drinker. I'm not sure if that's the play or not, but it happened. He is going to be a little bit behind in his first item buy. Especially, you know, Corki wants to get those early items, so having to buy Hex Drinker is going to be a big downside with it.
Mark Boots, you gotta be careful. Nice ice up there, out of the range of the Q, and nobody really punished them because they don't got CC. Loose to improve. What is he gonna do? What is Ham gonna do? No CC there, so
that was
they
a great
needed that Q to land.
Didn't even need to flash. And Aatrox getting a plate in the top lane. He's saying thank you very much.
Look at the pink words here. You know there's a Lee Sin on the other side when
Exactly.
there's random pink words left and right.
Just a quick update. I'm curious, how much gold has Maokai gotten? Ooh, not much, only 33. But you know, it'll scale into the mid game. And Dragon is spawned. Lee Sin and Hecarim both bot side. And the cats are filling the bushes.
Yeah, they really want to go for this one. Both sides. It's important for them to get this Drake because already Team Ambition Black have found the first one in the game. Leaving Team E7 Seraphs to scratch their ears, but they got the prio, so you know they got the setup. So this could be an early Drake for them, tying up the count 1-1.
Yep, they're actually giving up, maybe looking for a play under the Cho'Gath, forcing him to play a little back. They're actually going for the dive here.
Yeah, they might. Tanamo does have Flash available and a Feast. Flash is already burned. Tanamo gonna get pulled back. Demon King Sam pop his ulti. Castle looking for the Sonic Wave another time. Goes in for seconds. Will get traded though, because Feast did a lot of damage there unexpectedly. But Castle now going down will provide, and Tanamo going down will provide Demon King Sam. Just an easy take for that turret. Mark Boots is around the corner as well, but he decided to go back and TP in the mid lane to alleviate some of that pressure from Corki here. Loose to improve. Thought he could have a couple of plates for himself, but TP already burnt from Mark Boots to alleviate some of that pressure.
Yeah, but look at the gold the CS differential in this top lane. It's almost 100. 141 to 69. Aatrox has a 200 gold bounty and he's 0-1. He's actually gonna get ganked in just a minute here. He's gonna be able to dodge that one very nicely.
Yeah.
And in the mid lane as well, you know, Victor with a 30 CS lead already has his mythic item. So that's why, despite the kills being 3-3, there is so much gold in favor of TA. Not only that, but it's also the gold plates that they've gotten. They got the whole first turret. They got mid lane 3 turrets.
A flashless top lane Cho'Gath here with the help of Ham. Onslaught of Shadows was already used. Ghost as well, and they're gonna jump onto Castle, but Castle jumps away with the blast going. Demon King Sam moves through walls. All right.
They have the mobility advantage.
Yeah, E7S almost had it coming for them. Maybe getting the short end of the stick here, but they do lose their blue buff, at least for now. Castle is putting up the pressure here. Does find a Sonic Wave. Does have the kick available here if he wants to make a play happen.
And, Leona is even, you know, walking around the map trying to see what can happen. That does mean gold platings on the bot lane turret is going over to Vayne, so maybe not the best.
Castle safeguards over a hop. Dragon's Rage to kick. Loose improve back into Mark Boots. Turk as well. I mean, he didn't get an assist there, but nicely done from Castle. Wraps around all the way from topside jungle to make that kill happen. Now Ham, he really wants to safeguard this turret, but it's not going to happen. They're going to just instead collapse onto Turk. Turk goes down. Mark Boots trying to evade oncoming attacks. He's going to be safe for now. And 4-4 this game. Both teams are fighting tooth to claw. And speaking of that, Castle finds yet another pick. Young Jay now has to be careful. Sonic Wave does land. Wow. Castle does not have Dragon's Rage, but here comes Meowing Cat with Nature's Grasp. Castle slowed down, rooted up. Now here comes Mark Boots with the flash and goes in. Mega Death Rocket does not connect. Doesn't do much there from E7. Oh, that is... Okay, all right. Tanamo just TPs right in the middle there. I thought it was going to be bad, but he doesn't get CC'd there. So 5-6 scoreline overall. Team Ambition Black are still in it.
Yeah, that was interesting. That was a lot.
That was a lot.
So I mean, Lisa and got quite a good. I mean, nice play overall. I would say. It's one of those things
decent
where
plays. I mean, he's chilling at that point.
Words are failing me. It was so amazing. Right, what I wanted to say, Vayne getting kills there is very, very good for E7. 3-0 Vayne has the item advantage on Jinx. So this is the opposite as what we saw last game. And this worries me a little. This would be worrying me a little bit if I was on TA, just because Vayne is one of those champions that if they get the lead, they can run away with it. That being said, there is a pretty substantial gold lead in favor of TA, so much so that they have, objective bounties up.
Yeah.
So
At some point, though,
and the Runeterra game, so
at some point, the gold discrepancy is not even going to matter for this type of team because, Vayne is just going to be Giga Fed. Already, she hasn't lost any pace. Young Jay, this is his ace champion. So if anybody could do it, it's going to be on their side here. The blue side, obviously, statistically speaking, gets more Drakes. The red side gets more Barons, I think. So we'll see what happens here just in a second because we're approaching that mid-game mark where both teams really are trying to fight over for some advantages, get some vision down. Turret still standing tier 1 for Team Ambition Black. With that said, in addition to that, they drop the Rift in the mid lane. I don't know if that's going to pick up any turrets here, but they use it as a diversion because guess what? The Drake is up, so they're going to focus their scopes on that. In the meantime, though, speaking of focusing scopes, here comes Young Jay. Absolutely gets shattered to pieces. Mark Boots with the double in the bot lane. Hello.
Yeah, I mean, Mark Boots, he's Victor. He's got 9 Dark Seal stacks. He's got a long rod. He's a problem. Quite a bit of a problem. Corki with package, maybe. Nope, you don't want none of this. Bye-bye, Corki.
Yeah, Mark Boots, 2 levels ahead of Corki here. And Corki, guess what's left? Lonesome on the turret. Sulfur does not connect. He flashes out of that one. Castle follows out, safeguarding on the ward. Now loose to improve. Bites the dust. Castle with the 5th kill in the game.
Yep, and this is exactly what we saw last game from TA. Just absolute domination. Once they get a sliver of a lead, looks like Demon King Sam not able to make anything happen at 1v1. But this is exactly what we saw last time, right? The lead just keeps growing exponentially, and Mark Boots is just so nuts. 650 gold bounty, 40 gold, 40 CS lead in this mid lane, 10 Dark Seal stacks. I'm curious if he upgrades it to Magi's. Yes, he does.
And stopwatch.
And grabs a stopwatch, just like that. Beautiful.
Yeah. You want the stopwatch here because there's Hecarim on the other side.
Yeah.
If you do get caught out, it's going to be the story to that. Victor not very mobile. You might think he is kind of a champion hard to get because he will be untouchable if his positioning is right on point, right? So he needs to play careful here as he does have the highest gold bounty on his team, 650 gold. So you don't want to be doing any aggressive plays when you're that far ahead and just giving that advantage back to your opponent.
Yep, absolutely. The next objective on the map is Baron Nashor in a minute 37. I'm curious if TA, are they just going to do it on spawn as they did last time? Are they ahead enough? I don't think so, right? They're ahead, certainly, right? But it's not the lead that we saw last game. They don't have quite as much, I would say, map pressure that they did, right? They still have all the tier 2 turrets up on the side of E7. So they don't have as much pure map priority as they did before. That being said, if they can force any sort of fight, I think they do win, and then they can turn that into an objective fight.
Substantial lead over the top side too. We talked about how Demon King Sam, this is his ace champion Atrox, where I've personally seen him drop kills back to back. Like this guy goes really ape mode on this champion, beast mode. And Demon King Sam, I think one of the few champions. Wait a minute though, let me hold that thought. As all for one is getting engaged on the mid lane. This is not looking that good for the Jinx, and the silver lining there indeed. Indeed, silver lining. That's what they exactly needed here. We're talking about E7S. They come out on top, at least in the trade in the mid lane. However, they still have to be careful as Mark was closing in on them both sides. Looks like Team Ambition Black, they're going to find one pick. Loose to improve. Going to get away with the mobility there. Blastcone is there to just get away. However, Sonic Wave is still available. Tanamo with the Q to peel off, but that is just huge amount of damage coming through. Demon King Sam with the first one. Gets the pull back on time. Now time in the mid. In the middle of a commotion there, will go down and bites dust. That's a lot of gray screens on the side of E7S.
Yeah. They did take off all for one. Jinx all alone in the mid lane, oh no. But Then all of a
Oh,
sudden,
man.
Victor comes in, Lee Sin comes in, Aatrox comes in, and just like that, turned on its head once again in favor of TA. So it's gonna be very Nasher. Looks like they're just going for it. Hecarim is up. He may try and go for a steal, but it's hard to.
What happened there, We lost you there a little bit. You good? Oh no, they got to him. Not too sure. But in the meantime, though, we already know that was just an easy one in the bag. Securing the Baron Nasher for Team Ambition Black. It's looking good so far. And they have so much momentum built up. 10k gold in the bag. And in the meantime, we got 50 seconds. Yet another objective. It's something going to be the bot side. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, absolutely. And they want to get this dragon because it gives them the soul point. And especially if they have the double TP, they can push top lane, bot lane, and get the lane prio as well. So, I mean, TA are in a very, very solid spot. 18 stacks on the Victor. How much AP does he have at the moment? 304. Oof. And he still has a stopwatch. I mean, he's going to be unkillable this fight.
E7 Seraphs have to do something here. Seraph. Oh. I thought that was going to be the end of Meow and Cat there. Because every time we're seeing a Sonic Wave, Dragon's Rage is also available on the Lee Sin at all times. So he's ahead by a whole margin. 300 gold bounty on his head. And, oh, wait a minute. Okay, all right. Ham decided to, I think, pull the trigger or pull the plug. He really doesn't want to go in. I thought he was going to go outside of the shadows, inside of the pit. I think they just want to catch out a player instead. Meow and Cat has Nature's Grasp available in this team fight.
Yeah, but I don't even think they can at this point. Like, with the Baron buff up, they just don't have the items. I mean, Corki's still on, one item because of the Hex.
He's getting caught out a little bit there. In the meantime, though, they're not missing much action. It's pretty slow. You see the rotations coming through.
Down.
Oh, here it is. That's the engage. And E7S already finding one. That's a Jinx down. Turk now goes golden. This is absolute mistake. Huge blunder coming out from Team Ambition Black. They're losing a couple of Barons on the back foot of that. Demon King Sam trying to get away from the range of the Nature's Grasp as it was thrown down. Ham does not have Onslaught of Shadows available, so he has to be careful when he walks in. He just gets zapped away by Mark Boots, but Mark Boots goes down, and now Demon King Sam has to rise above competition. Lose to improve is very low on HP. Can they do it? A double kill from Mark Boots. The burn through Leandris comes in clutch. Now Demon King Sam throwing down the gauntlet, and there it is, the double kill from the top laner, Team Ambition Black.
Yeah, very, very nice cleanup from TA. It started off as kind of a disaster scenario, right? You have the beautiful package from Lose to Improve, coupled by Sam's dance of Onslaught of Shadows, and it was looking like a comeback, actually, until Victor and Aatrox showed up, and oof, big damage. I think if Victor had managed to get the stopwatch, it would have been an ace. Unfortunately, I think he got CC'd by the Cho'Gath knockup, and just like that, it's a little popped. But, he picked up the Void Staff. He's dealing big, big damage. He's going to be shredding through everybody now. He already was beforehand. And he's still at 18 stacks despite dying, which is pretty incredible.
And now E7S have to pull off a miraculous play just like that. So, to even be in this game, to have an even say or do anything as they do. As the thing is, they lost Baron, and now they're looking at losing yet another objective in a couple of minutes here because they don't have any prio here. The vision is not in their favor. You see blue trinkets here and there are getting taken out. So, they have to also proactively decide if they really want to go for this or not, and what's kind of the outcome of that or the result of that, right? Because if they don't go for this Drake, then they're gonna look at they're gonna have to make something else happen, another fight. It's just gonna prolong the game more and more.
Yeah, and I mean, not only that, but that fight if you give up the dragon, that second fight is going to be against an Ocean Soul, and when you're already 10k gold behind, the last thing you want is that as well. To have even more healing and sustain matched up on top of that. Victor trying to get collapsed on. Looks like they're just going to try and dive him under this turret. I'm not sure if they can. He does have stopwatch.
Demon King Sam does have TP too, so if anything, they could just force out TP from Demon King Sam, who is reluctantly pushing over the top side. And you said Ocean Soul, right? Ocean Soul on Team Ambition Black is going to be dangerous because they have that 10k gold lead. My argument is it's going to just look dangerous because Demon King Sam is going to have a lot of sustain in team fights, and that's what Atrox want.
Yeah, especially, you know, with that Death Stance. Maybe he finishes it off with a Spirit Visage. Going to be amplifying it even more. Oh, Corki.
Oh, might get zapped away there. Mark Boots 2 levels ahead. Finds a solo bolo in the bot lane. And now you wonder, why didn't they pick LeBlanc into the Victor?
Who could have seen this coming? That being said, you know, Dragon's coming up, Baron's coming up. And with Corki dead for 30 seconds, I think they just go for Baron. It looks like TA is thinking the same. I mean, there's just no, there's no way to contest it.
Yeah, there's no way you got a man down.
Yeah, it's just, I don't think they win it.
Still 700 gold bounty on top there. Demon King Sam, an absolute monster, an absolute unit. Tanamo in the mid lane too. They're not gonna commit to this. I don't know if they are. They just want to get the turret, it looks like, with that extra bounty that they might secure. But here comes Mark Boots, already looking good, looking stacked. Turk not gonna pull the trigger off just yet, saving it for a Baron fight, but possibly a Baron fight. But Ham just uses the ultimate defensively. You do not want to see that coming out from a Hecarim.
Yeah, especially when you have a fight like this coming out. Are they just gonna give the dragon?
They're just gonna give the Baron. They want to go for the dragon, so they're like, okay, we'll give you guys that. Oh, Mega Death Rocket almost hit the mark there. That would have been devastating.
The smite was early. Did you see the smite was early? It was like the dragon was left at like 7 HP or something. It was
yeah, that could have been
too close. Too close.
Disaster. But speaking of disaster, look at their base in shambles now. Team Ambition Black looks steady, taking inhibitor and that inhibitor turret.
That's gonna be 2 inhibs.
But they might get collapsed on here. Here it comes, Corki all the way to the back line. Corki's package, but he gets kicked back by Dragon's Rage. Speaking of that, Sonic Wave, the follow-up double for King Sam here. And he is looking steady too, chasing for more. Young Jay with the movement on the vein, trying to get away. Ham is there as well. Does have Onslaught of Shadows in a couple of seconds, but he's not going to have it yet. And he's looking at the face of Demon King Sam, who's a couple of levels ahead, like 5 levels ahead of him. So you really cannot fight that one. And then there it is. Team Ambition Black slowly choke them out and force them back into the fountain here as the fight is going to break out another time. HP bars are low, and they're getting lower. Tanamo, who's the tankiest member, just gets absolutely shredded. All for one, finding the Rockets. The Rocket Slinger herself will finally find 1 kill in the game, the first one for the Jinx. And there it is. They go out in style. Team Ambition Black are looking good. Back-to-back wins.
Yep, Mark Boots says, you can ban my Ahri. I'm just going to whip out my Victor. Absolute stomp. Both Mark Boots and Demon King Sam, great performance that game.
Yeah, the Atrox pick too. The Atrox, kudos to Demon King Sam. I knew how that was heading. I don't think anybody else did. If you're not aware of how Team Ambition Black play. But anyway, with that said, we're going to take a short break, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back after that break. Could be our final game. Could be our final game because Team Ambition Black don't look like they're going to lose anytime soon. So E7S, they got something else coming for them if they don't pull off a win right now. So with that said, ladies and gentlemen, we'll take a short break. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
All right, everybody. It's the start of the week. It's Monday, so I'm honored to be here, and we're starting it off right. Runeterra Academy Senior Class quarterfinals, best of 5, and already we saw 2 games, back-to-back wins for Team Ambition Black versus E7 Seraphs. And with that said, they are the 3rd seed against the 2nd seed. So, we thought that going into it, they might not be that favored. But time and time again, we're seeing Team Ambition Black looking to be strong. And I don't know, their communication is there. The decision-making is there. What can we expect in the 3rd game?
Well, based on what we've seen so far, I would expect more of the same, just absolute consistency from Team Ambition in the sense that they take their time going into these games, right? They don't start off playing super aggressive or doing anything too crazy. They take their time, they play and they plan, they plot, and when the moment comes, they strike. Right?
Yeah.
They wait for the moment to put their eggs in the basket. With a slight exception last game, I mean, Demon King Sam did get solo killed for the first blood, but they held steady, right? They didn't tilt or start playing any differently than they normally do. So they just wait, and then when they find an opening, they take it. And then once they get their foot in the door, they just open it, and it just snowballs.
Yeah, at least for E7 Seraphs, they need a lethal dose of Hopium here if they really want to have a reverse sweep happen, because they not only need to win this game, but 2 games after that for that back-to-back win wins to top things off here. But, speaking of draft, last game we saw the Lee Sin, we saw the Zeri ban, but this time around we're seeing Lee Sin ban and a Zeri pick.
Yep, I mean the Zeri pick actually got through. TA picked it this time.
Yeah.
Usually they're the ones that banned it. So kind of interesting. They're going off of the Jinx. It wasn't banned. They just decided to snag it up. But E7 say we're not giving the Nautilus. We're taking it this time. And I'm curious what they're going to pair with it. Maybe they pick up the Jinx. It's still on the table.
I think they should approach this draft by leaving the last pick for the mid lane, not the top lane, because when E7 has played on the red side in the first game, they left that last pick up to, guess what, pick Cho'Gath, right? So I feel like that you could just pick any other time. Having that mid lane matchup in your favor is heavily could go in your way, and I feel like that could be what E7S need to get back on the horse. Speaking of the horse, it's going to be a Hecarim game another time.
I completely agree. If you're saving your last pick for top laner, it has to be a carry. You can't save R5 to pick Cho'Gath. It just makes no sense. You can pick Cho'Gath at any other point in the draft, and he plays exactly the same. If you're going to counter pick top lane, you need to be a carry that can win the matchup, get a gold lead, roam, something. As you said, if it's much easier in the mid lane to make that positive, that's why it's a good recommendation. And just looking at tab so far,
Echo, all right.
I like the Tahm Kench pick. It has the flexibility of either going top or support. His balance changes towards support have been pretty decent in terms of, he gets the movement speed when eating an ally, to get a larger shield. Just overall pretty great in terms of peeling capabilities. And the Echo pickup, I really like Echo as a champion. I don't know how well it plays in competitive, but I love Echo. His thematic and just how he plays in general.
Oh, he's really good. I think if you get a good communication going, because his W's are really hard to land.
Oh yeah.
So you need a lot of coordination on that end to know when to go and when to go out. I mean, his W's need to be 100% here if he wants to make anything happen, because Tom Kench has that Devour, has the Abyssal Dive to get away from upcoming attacks, and Nautilus has that Dredge line to follow up, I guess, at the end of the day, right?
Yeah.
So E7 Seraphs are looking at the angle where they're going to CC and play around the carries. This time around, Echo could be the carry jungle that they're looking for, or they want to flex it mid if they don't like the top lane matchup and they want to still R5 top lane.
Yeah, and I would hope they save mid for R5, just because you have the possibility of the Echo Flex. If you show mid now, you basically lose all the sort of surprise. And they picked him up. I like this a lot.
This is the champion that he wants to play, right? Like, he's been seeing that champion getting banned, so
exactly. It fills in the tankiness, it fills in damage. You have the top lane priority. You have the CC, the engage, the disengage, so much all in one champion. It's crazy. And not only that, but you have the mid lane possibility of the Echo. It is going to be an Akali mid, I would assume. I guess we're going to find out where that Tom Kench is going.
yeah, Tom Kench. I hope it goes bot lane, man. I don't want to see Tom Kench in this season. We saw a lot of that going into it. You know, that's an easy way to pull off a win. I never too supportive of that, just because I think that it's like not that fun to watch. I think watching Tom Kench support is even more fun. But that is going to be LeBlanc. I don't think that's Akali. That's Tom Kench support, Hecarim jungle, Akali mid, and LeBlanc, or Akali top and LeBlanc mid.
Yeah, Akali top.
Yeah, for sure.
Mid, Tom Kench support. So
makes sense. It makes sense.
I don't see enough Akali to know if she wins the Gnar matchup. Like I said, we see Irelia, so I'm curious what's going on here. I wonder if they ever put the Gnar mid. I don't know.
I think
I feel like it's
Irelia,
just Irelia mid.
yeah, wants to go against the LeBlanc, because once you close the gap between you and LeBlanc, I feel like it's just easier for Irelia. Like, that's where she excels at, those 1v1 fights. Whereas LeBlanc is more of an assassin and wants to burst you down. So I don't think it's going to be possible for this LeBlanc to burst Irelia down if Irelia plays her cards right, obviously. I think this is all in all a really good solid comp coming out from E7S. And the Echo is, at the end of the day, going to go to the jungle. I think this is a better option for him compared to the mid lane. I just think he has more agency being out of vision than always being in vision, because he could just rotate much better, hide in bushes, and land that W 100% of the time if he actually has a coordination from the team. So we'll see how that pans out. But the side of Team Ambition Black, they have the Zeri. This is a huge carry in this season. I think a lot of people are underestimating the nerfs. I mean, he's still playable.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where it doesn't really matter how much damage you do, because no one can catch you, so you're literally just poking them down until they die. They can't run away from you. So, and you still scale like a beast, right? You get Triforce, you get Black Cleaver, Runon's Hurricane, what else? Wit's End, maybe. I'm not sure exactly what the build is, but there's just so much movement speed and on hit that you kind of just scale regardless. And of course, you have the mobility with her E that is just so nice to have as an ADC. Overall, looking at these team comps, I do see a strong lack of CC from Team Ambition that worries me. It's pretty much just like Tom Kench, the dive, and then Hecarim ult. I guess it's not a lot. So
Yeah,
On
I do see
contrast,
that
like,
argument
yeah,
there. They don't have a lot of CC. What are they gonna do? But in the same time, I feel like they're very mobile, so they don't need that much CC. They could just
yeah,
avoid everything. I feel like
exactly.
Hekrem, he just needs to be careful if he goes in. Like, how does he get out? Right, with outside of shadows in team fights. But I feel like for everybody else, like LeBlanc, like Akali, Tom Kench, and Zeri, I don't think they care too much about CC because they're able to move away. Akali in the Shroud is able to dance around in team fights long enough to make plays happen. So in that department, I feel like Team Ambition Black are very aggressive. You know, they
Mhm.
don't have CC on their part, but they're just willing to move around in team fights, willing to find gaps that they could close. And with the Tom Kench and Zeri, it's going to be almost impossible, like virtually impossible to lock down the Zeri if Tom Kench is around her, because Zeri was already mobile. Right, add
Right.
Tom Kench in the equation with the
Yeah.
Abyssal Dive and the Devour. It's gonna be annoying
Yeah.
to walk right into that. So for E7S, they have a long ways ahead if they want to find a comeback here and turn things around. Because mind you, they have to win this one and 2 more games for that reverse sweep.
Yeah, I mean, I really agree with what you said about Team Ambition having to play really aggressive. I think that in a vacuum, E7S wins the draft. However, what we've seen from Team Ambition, the sort of gameplay and consistency they have, I think they could pull this off. I think they need to get an early lead. I think they need to play to their strengths, right? Because picking a Kali LeBlanc, you have to get picks. You're not probably not going to win a 5v5 fight against. I mean, the E7S's team composition is like insane 5v5, right? You have
Yeah.
Nautilus and Gnar for CC chains. You have Irelia Jinx for damage, Echo for burst potential and also big stuns. He also has the smite steal potential. So I think E7S is sort of like the simpler comp to pull off, and I think they could definitely pull it off this game. But we've seen Team Ambition pull it off before, so I'm not counting them out of the running. I'm just saying they need to be really careful how they play this early game.
The only thing that I don't like from them is that all the supports are not supports, are the players from the side of E7 Seraphs is they have melee like Gnar, Aurelia, Echo, Nautilus, the hook, and that's the only thing, right? Gnar is able to play around Mega Gnar bar, but I feel like from the side of Team Ambition Black, they kind of also have a lot of gap closers where like the Kali is able with her shuriken like go in and dive the back line, and Hekrem, you know, could close up the gap quite well where they don't have to worry about too much for being a melee champion. Whereas I feel like for these other champions, Echo has to really rely on his E. And I think the school of thought is for Echo players, like, do you use your E aggressively or do you use it to position out of team fights? You know, that's what it's going to come down to for most of these players. Are they using their gap closers offensively or defensively? For the most part, we saw last game, Hekrem was using Onslaught of Shadow to get away from players than
Right.
versus going in. So we'll see what happens in that department. With that said, though, any predictions going into it?
I think you raised a great point about how short range E7's composition is, and that's actually a nice counterpoint to my argument. I do think that could come into play, especially considering, you know, the assassination capabilities of LeBlanc and Akali. If E7 is going into you and you have the assassins on your team, that's very advantageous, because if they're going into melee, that means, you know, Jinx is in the backline all alone. And, you know, as a LeBlanc and Akali, you're salivating at the thought of a lonesome Jinx. Hopefully Jinx goes shield bow, by the way. I don't think this is a Kraken Slayer game at all, because of just the assassin's existence. So, I mean, we'll see. If E7 can get the vision control and get there beforehand so that Team Ambition are coming into them. But then again, they had this sort of team composition before and they weren't able to make it work. So we'll see if this time is going to be any different, or maybe Team Ambition just take the clean 3-0 sweep.
Yeah, when we get back, we're going to dive right into third game between E7 Seraphs versus Team Ambition Black. And it's do or die for E7S. We'll see what happens, what transpires for those fans, the sidelines waiting to see what is going to happen. You should also be joining us with the predictions because I already put my points in. I don't know if you did your channel points, but you got not a lot of time. So we'll be right back after this break shortly with a third game in the back. So far, the storyline has been favor Team Ambition Black,
30
but
seconds
now
until minions spawn.
E7 Seraphs, they have a question to answer. Are they able to make a comeback happen? Back to back, mind you, they have to win every single game from now on. And they are starting off strong. It looks like an early invade. They might be catching 0 for 1 on the rotate. 0 for 1. I don't think he noticed anything there. No calls yet. Maybe Turk will walk into that, but we don't know. But all right, it looks like they just wanted to get some wards down. They're gonna walk away.
They didn't even get a ward on the red buff. I'm sad. All that effort.
Now they're spotting. Okay, so what? Like, you know, the support is bot side. Like, you already knew that. I like how they're picking
Yeah.
about it too. Oh, you already knew that though. You know, like, it's not new intel. But now they know that the Tom
They know
Kench
he's
may
starting
be. Yeah, he's not leashing. So that's what they needed. That's what they went for. At least for him. He knows to make a faster clear happen to get the bot side first, to get that Scuttle Crab, and maybe he could absolutely rotate back to top side for that Scuttle Crab, so maybe we'll look at a double Scuttle Crab. I said that 3 times in the last sentence, but it's all good.
Yep. Ooh. Yep. Overall, this should be, I think, probably one of the more interesting games so far, just because Team Ambition are going for a quite different playstyle than they have the previous games. I feel like the team sort of swapped roles a little bit in terms of team composition. So we'll see what happens. Ooh,
Well, here's the
very
thing.
nice done there.
I think the way the Team Ambition Black are playing this third game is to, like, not show their complete hands to maybe other finalists in their groups and in RA, right? So maybe they're playing this type of comp to, like, okay, can we just get by and close out the win if we could just do the minimum here? Some of these interesting picks, like the Kali top lane, is making me scratch my head here because I've never seen Demon King Sam play this champion at all. Not in his OP.GG, not anywhere. So I could be wrong, though. Maybe he has played in RA so far. So that's something to look out for. Top lane matchup.
Yeah, and the Gnar is definitely quite interesting. I can't say I know much about the matchup personally. Both Akali and Gnar are pretty niche top laners, so great dredge line.
The Gnar could absolutely stomp the Akali. That Mega Gnar is super good early, so the Akali has to watch out for that. As far as the macro goes, we'll see what happens. Meowing Cat finds a dredge line on target, but now here comes Castle, pops the ghost, double buff goes in. Castle now zoned out, and Young Jays finding a lot of auto attacks here. Ham comes with the W, does not find anybody for the stun, but goes in with the E on target. Castle, now Abyssal Dive from Turk on the Tom Kench, but Young G finds the first blood. Ham is straight instantly. Turk now taking him very low. That's double buffs. That's a double for Turk. Absolutely performing, but Young J gets ahead with the double. Now flashes the stun. Flashes all for one to get the kill, but so close yet so far. That's a 2-2 start. Bot lane shenanigans.
Not quite excited enough, but yeah, I mean, 2 kills on Jinx versus 2 kills on Tom Kench. Which would you rather have? I know what my answer is.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah,
legit.
I'll ask you a different question. Would you have all the kills, like if your team kills, go on your support, or would you have all those kills, or not all those kills, or would you just give the enemy the soul? So which one would it be? And let's say it's like an infernal soul. Now that is a thought exercise.
Yeah, definitely.
If you have, because if you have Pyke support, you wouldn't mind that, right? Like, because Pyke could just get all the kills, you don't care. But like, say if it's someone like Tom Kench or someone like Leona, you know, stealing all the kills, I don't know.
Well, you know, everyone makes fun of Leona until she 1v1s the ADC, and you know, we've all seen the clips on Reddit, so.
Maybe this might end up on Reddit. A huge play happening here. A lot of members, a lot of HP bars. So you can see Turk is already low. It's going to pop the gray health, or the thick skin, just a little bit. But Irelia already closed out the distance. Gets first kill in the game. One for herself. Nicely done. Lusa improved already off the different start compared to last game.
Yep, and that should be Dragon number 1 going over to E7. Is this their game? This is the best start they've had yet. I mean, Jinx already has the Node Quiver and boots, and they're getting the first. I mean, they haven't have they gotten the dragon? They got one dragon game one, I think. But I mean, pretty much this series has been completely dominated by Team Ambition and Castle in terms of objective control. I would say has been very, very TA heavy. LeBlanc looking for something here.
Yeah, maybe we'll find it. Maybe she won't. But this will dive right on the target. Meow and Cat gets knocked up and then gets sent back to the fountain. Turk with the 3rd kill of the game. And E7 Seraphs, they're kind of scrambling over there as to what happened. They did secure the first Drake, but you know, their support is the 2nd time round trip back to base.
Turk is like, lose to improve.
Oh, W finally connects one. This maybe will be good because Turk already has a 300 gold bounty. Lose to improve goes for the kill, but is not successful. Ham now tries to go for it, but Turk goes golden. A massive play coming out from Team Ambition Black as they do bait out for the kills.
That was a beautiful stopwatch, if I've ever seen one. Wow.
It's a wow, but yeah, what do you do from now? We're already down, and you're looking at a Tom Kent support absolutely botting it. Also, if you do hear my cat, I do apologize in the back. I have to open the door for him. We're gonna see in the mid game. Okay, all right.
Yeah,
that happened.
Trade. Anyway, LeBlanc in the mid lane, Dark Seal, 3 stacks, starting to scale just a little bit. Oh, Akali.
Goes in. Tanamo flashes under the turret. Demon King Sam finds a full combo there and the Q top things up, but barely stay alive. Yep.
Missed the cannon though. Unlucky. Can't win them all.
That's even more heartbreaking than the solo kill for Tanamo. You know, missing the cannon.
It was so close too. That's the thing. Akali, are you gonna be able to get out of this one?
Yeah, Akali should be fine against the Echo here. But Ham doesn't even have the clock break.
Yeah. Blue buff passed on.
Mark Books goes for the stun, but you know, Echo is safe and sound. Tanamo has 60 CS, so not that worried about Akali getting fed.
I'm actually surprised. Demon King having more CS than Tanamo on the ranged top laner. It's usually the other way around if you think about it. I mean, just being even in farm while having such a range disadvantage. Oh, Zeri.
Oh, Zeri gotta watch out there.
She just has the E over the wall.
Yeah, she's like Talon up in here. But speaking of that, the dredge line is good for one target now. Turk tried to sidestep that from the Jinx, but couldn't. When does he pop his thick skin? He does. Now, Ionia screams. Irelia goes in with the Vanguard's Edge to find a kill, and there it is. Huge shutdowns in bot lane. 2 back-to-back kills. And there it is. E7 Seraphs are going to be happy with that one.
And Demon King Sam living top lane with 1 HP, literally. Wow. And I mean that is a gold advantage. Oh, Tanamo.
Tanamo jumps ahead, but that's a perfect execution from Demon King Sam finding the kill.
And 2 plates in the bot lane for E7. I told you this is gonna be the best game so far. I don't know who is gonna win this one. I mean, 3 kills on Jinx, but then you look at 3 kills onto the assassins on the side of Team Ambition. So I mean, Jinx has to go shield though, right? She just went Kraken Slayer. There's no way, right?
I feel like we've been seeing a lot of Kraken Slayer Jinxes lately. So.
Okay, in the previous games I could understand it, just because there's so much tankiness, but here, there's 2 assassins on the enemy team. You are gonna die. You're gonna get 1 shot. Like,
yeah, that's could be the possibility.
Get the shield bow.
For more sustain.
I hear you. I could be wrong. I could be wrong, but my mind is saying it has to be shield bow.
Maybe they're just too worried about Turk here. Jinx.
I mean, maybe they're saying Jinx is gonna die anyway, so let's just have her deal as much damage before she dies. Maybe that's the play, and then you just play around Irelia. And you just have 2 kills as well. So.
21 seconds, so the next Drake spawns, and let's see who will get the prio, because it's going to be really important. That's after that, we'll see which one is going to be our soul.
Yeah, I mean, take a look at Echo in the bot lane. He's looking for a play straight up. Hecarim is basing, so they have the play.
They do find the stun. Devour comes through for all for one, so they keep the Zeri safe. And speaking of that, Castle goes in. There's Onslaught of the Shadows coming out in that fight, and Mark Wu is going to make a commotion in the ball lane too. Yongji going to have to flash away to stay alive, but that is going to be Meow and Cat down. Here comes Loose to improve. I don't think he wants to go in on this one. That's 2 for nothing. Team Ambition Black walk away with that.
That was really strange. I wonder if Ham fat-fingered the Chrono Break? It looked like it was very weirdly timed. I don't think he was low HP, was he? I thought he was like... I mean, maybe I lag a little bit on screen or something, but it looked like it was just used randomly. But, I mean, either way, great play from Team Ambition. Hecarim, right place, right time. Castle has been pretty on point with these counter ganks. So, I mean, the Moby Boots, he wants some of Mark.
Yeah, there it is. They're on the mid lane to force up Mark Boots to flash away. Ham does not find the E yet.
It was just so funny watching the Nautilus just like just like not caring about anything. Just Moby Boots running.
Yeah, that's it. Running and gunning at that point. Trying to find anything in return. They are still behind for E7 Seraphs. They're, I don't know, like they got good plays in the bot lane. It's just the answer has been too much to deal with from all the side here from Team Ambition Black. Demon King Sam also has 150 gold bounty in the top lane.
Yeah, and still ahead in CS. That is just nuts.
E7 Seraphs, what are they going to do about that? I don't know. But so far, they could possibly flex Dynamo here with the TP to go for those Mega Gnar plays, which I think could be a way for them to get back, because their team fights are looking better in my opinion when they do get their ults off, when they do get the zoning, because they have the W on Echo, they have loose to improve Vanguard's edge here, the dredge line into depth charge. So it's going to be interesting to see if E7S walk away with some team fights here.
Yep, loose to improve. Yeah. Looks like the Rift Herald is going to be claimed by Team Ambition. Another objective under their belt. Good guy Tom Kench holding the wave for the Zeri. Love to see it.
The rotation's coming a little bit early for the bot lane here from Team Ambition Black. So now they flex their bot lane in the mid lane. They drop the Rift Herald here to become some more gold plates. And now here comes Ham, the W over the wall. Does not find anything but the Rift Herald. All for one. It dodges the dredge line, luckily enough. But Ham looks like wants to go for the chase, throws out the Q, backs up.
Yep, and first turret has been destroyed for Team Ambition. They got quite a gold lead from the kills and the CS leads, and the turret platings. So they've got just a little bit of everything. But E7 capitalizing on the resets, going to be going for this mid lane turn as well. They should get it.
Oh, E7 Seraphs could be under a lot of trouble here, but Onslaught of Shadows comes a little bit early here. Castle really zoning out Yongji. That is very optimistic, looking for a 2v4 blunder from Team Ambition Black, kind of throwing that one away. That's a double given over to Loose to improve. Here comes Demon King Sam from the flank. Mark Boots as well, does not find anything, but perfect execution does. Demon King Sam looking really good. What a phenomenal play by him to maybe equalize this trade, but it's 1 for 2 still.
Yeah, I mean, very straight. Castle just went in too early, I think. I mean, he was basically 1v5 in that fight. A little bit early. If he had waited a fraction of a time just for a Kali to get into range, I think they just clean up the whole fight. But unfortunately, Castle just got bursted down just a little bit too quickly. And overall, they're still in the lead. That was not a huge throw. The main bounty is on a Kali, so as long as Demon King stays alive, they are solid for now.
It's going to be hard to stay alive when the other team has a Fed Irelia, has a Fed Jinx, you know. So they have to see where they're going, not just pulling these plays off without calculating it, because that's what happens, you know, a little bit too early with the ult, you give
Yeah.
the advantages back to your opponents, and this is where E7S need to hold on the line here. They are looking at a closer gold deficit than the previous 2 games, so
Absolutely.
that checks the box right there for a sign that
Yeah.
you want to see if you're rooting for E7S for this comeback.
Yep, and perfect time from the fight. I mean, 30 seconds on Dragon. Hecarim top lane, he's a little bit out of position. So is Akali. I wonder if they're just giving this one up. It looks like it. I mean, just Hecarim's positioning on the map tells me that they're just not going for it at the moment. Especially with TK, right? It looks like they're trading Dragon for this top lane play.
They're going to zone out Tanamo here from his turret, just reluctantly moving a couple of players here, going to force them off the Drake, which is going to be the Mountain. That's the Mountain Soul for the game. So we've been having what is it, Mountain, Cloud, and what was the first one? I forgot, but it's been different. It's been different every time.
Oh yeah, for sure. It is, yeah. I think this is the. Ooh, I actually don't remember. My memory is failing me.
It's all good. I got short-term memory here. Castle goes in, forces a flash from the Gnar. Oh, Mega Gnar is not there yet. So,
yeah.
Fortunately, he's just deader than dead. Castle gonna be happy with that one. Picks up the 3rd kill in the game. 11-7. Boost to improve. Goes in. Now closes up the gap. And this is the beauty of playing Irelia. As soon as you close the gap, doesn't matter how far behind you are. You're still able to do a lot of damage.
Yeah, and I could see that stun was just a little bit off. If it hit, I'm pretty sure Mark actually dies there. But just like that, it looks like E7 are, they're holding the bleeding, and this is what we wanted them to do in the first game, right? They're not in a losing position by any means. Yeah, they're slightly behind in terms of pure gold, but it's not over. I mean, bigger leads than this have been won through, or have been lost.
Yeah, you got a tourniquet. Stop
Exactly.
bleeding here. It feels like that for now, and the game has taken a different turn, or a little bit of a slower turn, at least for the mid game. Nothing too crazy is happening, but oh, there it is, Abyssal Dive out of that one. And Turk is able to rinse and repeat that move time and time again. If he gets caught out, just get out of there. That's it, simple as that. The permanent invades are going to be the
just
threat here. Yeah, just Tom Kench helping out, being that secondary jungler that Team Ambition Black need. And Castle, is looking good, but also I have to say, Ham, he's that late scale Echo, building that AP damage. He's going to absolutely one-shot the Zeri if he gets in range. So it's still that threat looming over Team Ambition Black as they have to find answers later on. Now comes a play.
Oh, the Judge line. Oh, they're backing off. Oh, the TP.
Oh, they force out the TP play from Macaulay. The Shroud, she goes for Dance. Perfect execution to get away from here, but the Judge line could be all she wrote. Ham goes in with the E. That is the kill. Finds one. Phenomenal play by Ham to stay patient with that. Now Marcus has to flash away the Judge line, but no. Ham goes for the second with the second E. 2 for 2. Nicely done.
Yeah, and I mean, just like that, Echo is on the map for Dark Seal stacks. That's what you want to see if you're playing Echo.
Yeah, I think that was a fearless TP there from Team and King Sam. Ended up kind of biting him. So ended up costing him a lot here. Not only he loses Prio, but also loses TP and gives away gold bounty.
Yeah, and I think the gold bounty is the biggest part, right? Because now the gold across the two teams is pretty much equalized. I mean, it is like 2K gold. That's really nothing. That's a team fight, just like that. And actually, Jinx picking up the Hex Drinker here is going to be giving her quite a bit of sustain. That's why she didn't go for what's it called, the mythic Shield Bow.
Shield Bow. I thought we were going to say Gale Force, but it was the Shield Bow because you said she needs to be more sustained in team fights.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, she could have gone Gale Force this game, but I was questioning the not going Shield Bow. It's because she wanted to go for Hex Drinker. I think that's a fair play. I always forget that they share the same Lifeline passive, so that definitely makes sense. Both of the assassins on the team are AP, Akali and LeBlanc, so Hex Drinker is definitely a great buy, especially after the recent buffs. Those did a great service to making it buyable.
We'll see here in just a second. Because now the priority is up in the air. I mean, who has the faster clear, who has the better vision in this point in time will most likely have the priority in the pit. Oh, wait a minute. Speaking of pit, Castle, he's going to get zoned out. He has half the onslaught of shadow to get away from there. Oh, Abyssal Dive interrupted there. Knocked up. Tom Kench goes back to the fountain. And the Jinx finds the 4th kill in the game. E7 Seraphs are going to be happy with that one. A phenomenal find. Not only they tax Castle, but they find Tom Kench. So Team Ambition Black have to be careful in the next few minutes.
Oh, great stun, but unfortunately it doesn't have the Q fault.
Wait a minute.
Oh!
Lose to improve goes in with a flash. Mark Boots with a bamboozle, but he comes back as edge. Are you able to do anything here, Irelia? Ticking very low on the HP will go down. And Castle with a fine. Make a death rocket. Hold from downtown. Does not connect eventually. But again, see, whoever has the picks, whoever has the vision is going to get the prio in the ball lane. And there it is. E7 Seraphs finding the 3rd Drake in the game. What seemed like an impossible feat, they made it possible here in the 3rd game.
Yeah, and I just think that's just the power of having that CC from Nautilus. It just sets up their team comp so nicely. You have the Nautilus CC that you can follow it up with the Echo CC, the Gnar CC, and Jinx all the while is just autoing in the backside, and there's really nothing you can do when you get picked like that. Team Ambition really, they need to start coming together as 5 and not letting this happen. I mean, because from what I'm seeing, they're playing this game a little bit more like it's solo queue than if it was 5, because you really, especially if you're drafting a comp like that, you need to have the team advantage.
I mean, the only advantage for Team Ambition Black is this Akali. Like, everywhere else, they don't have anything. They don't have any advantages. Like, everything is equal. So, Tanimo has been holding his line here on the Gnar, you know. Has a short end of the stick, yes, but has been able to keep up. Nonetheless, the only advantage that Team Ambition Black have is the gold allocated on the Akali. And speaking of that, now they find yet another opportunity on the side of E7S. But here comes Dredgeline, another TP play on the top side. Mark Boots with the bamboozle is not connecting anything there. But Castle gonna get. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, that Devour comes through and outside the shadows. Nice wombo combo there from Team Ambition Black. They find one. They find a second as well, turning this fight around. Oh, this is just beautiful. Extraordinary feat by Team Ambition Black to make that play happen as they do find kills back-to-back. Tanimo pops the ulti here. Mega Gnar out of the Genie. Castle finding the kills back-to-back. And there it is, 16-10.
Yeah.
Team Ambition Black lose no one. And they find almost an ace.
I mean, and that's just what I was saying, right? I mean, they just need to come together as 5 and they just win. I mean, they're ahead enough that they really just win the 5v5. E7 they just don't have the resources at the moment to contest them in these fights. And just like that, Baron is going to go over to Team Ambition Black. More kills. 5 Dark Seal stacks for LeBlanc. I mean, overall, they're just scaling very, very well.
Maybe for E7 Seraphs, the comfort zone is being down 10k gold. We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
But I don't think they have been showing us that they can have that comeback and resurgence when they are behind by that margin, right? By 10k gold deficit. So I don't know, man. This is kind of looking bad for E7S. They had some momentum, but the wind is just knocked out of them at this point. A great play over the top side by Team Ambition Black to kind of put the final nail in the coffin here for any hopes, but Hopium still probably going as strong for E7S, those of you who are cheering them on.
I think they do have a win condition in this Dragon Soul if they can either just win the fight and get it, or if Echo can somehow get a steal. That being said,
Oh, here we go. This is a great look.
Here.
Here comes a pitch fight, but the priority is now for E7S. Look at Direligo. Gets the lead at all for one. Now all the shadows onto the back line, zoning out the carries. Young J is history. The double kill from Mark Boots, the MVP type mid laner, consistently performing here. And a phenomenal play. They're almost finding the ace, leaving the lone survivor. Demon King Sam comes in, cleaning up on aisle 9, and Ham has nowhere to go. There it is, ace. Team Ambition Black might be able to even finish it off here.
Yeah, I mean, 15 seconds on respawn timers. I think they can do it. They can just go for the finish. They have the burn. They have the minion wave. They're tanking it up.
There it is. GG's E7S. It was a great run, nonetheless. You guys showed up, gave it your all, put the heart in the game. All right, wait a minute, though, as I do say that they're not really focusing on the Nexus here. Team Ambition Black, hello. Demon King Sam goes for that padded up KDA here. And there it is, ladies and gentlemen. Team Ambition Black are your quarterfinal winners.
Yeah, that was an impressive series, 3-0. None of the games even, I would say the last game more close than the others, but even then, the gold lead was just, I would say, consistently in Team Ambition's favor. Even if it was less extreme than initially in the other games, they were always in control. E7 had some opportunities to sort of come back, but never quite enough. And Team Ambition were just too coordinated to let that happen.
Yeah, taking a look at the gold. Oh, man, you can see the blue team, Team Ambition Black, you know, the first 5 minutes, they were like, okay, we're going to go toe-to-toe. But then after that, they're like, okay, we got ups and downs here. But then after that 10-minute mark, they were just in the driver's seat. Absolutely phenomenal performance by them. And they come out on top here in the quarterfinals without dropping a single game.
Yep, absolutely. And a pretty great performance consistently from all of the players. I don't think any of them necessarily outshined the others. They all played very, very well in all of the games. I think they were great as a team and not like a one-man carry some teams rely on.
Yeah, and that's just gonna end it for us today. We're gonna. Wait a minute, I debated you guys. Sorry. You know, I just got a word in. We got an interview on the docket here. So, with that said, we're gonna take a short break. We'll be right back with the interview. I wonder who it's gonna be. I guess we'll keep you guys in tune. We'll be right back. And hello, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We took a short break. Now we're back with the interviews. First time I'm doing the interviews here in Runeterra Academy. Really excited. And we have none other than Castle, the jungler from Team Ambition Black. How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me.
Well, great performance, great games. You guys did not drop a single one, so you must be feeling really excited about that. Um, What's been, I mean, I'll start with the easy question first. I've been watching you this whole split, and we are lucky enough to get some of the games on the stream. What has been the most consistent thing for you, the entirety of the groups? And I mean, you could also include in the quarterfinals in there.
Uh, well, like consistent champions or
I mean, what has been the most consistent for you? What's been working?
well, we just we normally draft aggro shit, but then we got shit on once for drafting too aggro. So this series
Mhm,
we tried to pull it back. That's why I started playing the like Jarvan and uh just like less aggro play style
mhm,
and stuff. But normally we're pretty aggro, but we got
mhm.
kind of punished for it against Glue. So we've been trying to pull back a little bit.
A little bit, dial it down a little bit.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, what did you think about the games that we saw today? You have a question for Castle.
Well, I mean, I was gonna say that I feel like you guys definitely pulled that off. The way you played it, at least from not in. I don't know how you guys are doing in the comms, but just watching it seemed like you guys were waiting for the right moment when you would just all in and generate these leads seemingly out of nowhere, and then you just held on to those for the rest of the game. Um, so when you guys were playing aggro, did you feel that you would sometimes you know, play aggro and then get. I mean, you said you got punished for it, so do you feel that this new play style sort of solved that issue?
We're still playing like somewhat similar. Like we're still playing aggressive. It's just trying not to be too aggressive,
Right.
and we still get caught sometimes, just like random deaths. But it's just about minimizing the deaths and just making sure there's not enough of them to where we're gonna lose the game off of just like a bunch of random deaths happening. So today we played pretty well, and it was a little shaky in game three where we were having some bad fights. But other than that, I don't think there was ever really a time in a game where we were like worried at all.
Speaking of game three, Castle, the pick over the top side, the Kali here. What was up with that? Never seen Demon King Sam played. I mean, at least on the record, doesn't show that he has played it in his OP.GG. So, was that something that you guys had up your sleeve, or was it used as kind of like the opposite way around, where you don't want to show what Demon King Sam is able of doing? What was the approach in that third game, especially with draft?
I know I've seen Sam pick a Kali before in our games, but I went to the bathroom after we locked in my character, so
Mhm.
I don't actually know I don't
What
actually
happened
know
there?
the logic behind why we
Oh
locked in a
gosh.
Kali. I just came back and our draft was over.
Oh, typical jungle move, and then you get flamed, and then obviously it's all good. I guess outside and inside of competitive leagues, how are you as a player? Do you farm honors, or are you easily tilted when things don't go your way?
Uh, I don't think I'm easily tilted. I'm an honor five player. I have
Oh, I see.
Ooh,
You know,
Honor
right?
five.
Taking a new approach this year that builds honor 2.0 that's incentivize people. You might get a Warwick skin, is what I'm trying to say.
Oh, I
At
can't
the
wait for the Warwick skin. I love playing some fucking Warwick.
all right, well let me bleep that.
Oh, sorry, my
There it
bad.
is. A little bit too late. It's okay. I'm still on the reaction times. Um, but aside from that, how excited are you guys going into the semifinals?
We're playing against Mirage most likely. We play against them like back to back because we're playing against them in another league as well, and it should
Mhm,
be pretty fun playing against them. I think they're a good team. They're probably most likely gonna be the hardest match. I don't think uh, the teams on the
mhm.
other side will be as. I mean, maybe they will. I haven't played against either of them yet. What's
Oh.
probably going to be on the other side, so they could be harder. But just off on paper, Mirage looks the hardest.
Yeah, they are the reigning champions, so it's something to consider going into it. And hopefully, we do
Yeah.
see the way you guys perform today, showing up whenever whoever is going to be the opponents, right? Assuming it's going to be MGM, we'll see how that pans out. Before we end the interview here today, Castle, any few words, any few shout outs you want to give to special people who are supporting you and Team Ambition Black?
Yeah, shout out to my team. Shout out to our coach Jiggity. That guy's awesome. Shout out to our owner Prots.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
Prot.
He's a nice guy.
And shout out to Bean, Mark's dog, our team mascot, and shout out to Sir Zepper.
All right. Well, there it is, ladies and gentlemen. Nice talking to you, Castle. Looking forward to seeing what you're able to do later on in the playoffs as well. Good luck. Good luck to the team.
All right, thank you.
All right. Well, with that said, ladies and gentlemen, this concludes our interview, concludes our day. The first quarterfinals are in the books. We're going to be coming in next week with the semifinals, right, Wookie? If I get a word in, it's going to be the semifinals. Yes. So semifinals next week on Monday, same time. So be here. You know, that's all. A special thanks to Wee Wizard. Thank you for filling in for Miles. Miles, hope you feel better, my friend. With that said, do you want to add anything?
Just great matches that we saw today, and looking forward to the semis going forward. Good luck to all the teams involved.
All right. Well, we just got a raid as well, I guess. Middlesticks, GG. Thank you for the raid for 25 players. I mean, you guys are awesome, but hopefully we don't want to disappoint because we're just ending the stream. But we do appreciate that. Thank you so much. So yeah, my name is Proof at Proofcast. Be sure to follow me on Twitter. I actually do post a lot on Instagram as well. Proof Click. With that said, that's the only shout out I want to give. Shout out to Wookie. Shout out to Red. Thank you guys for allowing me this opportunity. It's been really fun. It's been real and it's been fun, and it's also been real fun. So I could say that today. With that said, good night, everybody. Take care of each other. Take care of yourself. GG.